Off the top ropes, 2-episode sizzle. One lady who's going to have a sizzling May and June. The queen of soft style, Miranda Morales. She joins Off the Top Rope about the impact she's going to leave on her upcoming wrestling schedule. She joins your boy Ty Asbury on Off the Top Rope Wednesday night, presented by SixPackCoverage.com. Sizzling and no doubt, watch it live.
Tyrone Asbury. Yo. Yeah. I need y'all to listen to me right now as I take you on this journey. Podcast journey. Only the greats can.
It is Wednesday night, and you know what's going down live as can be. This is your boy Ty Asbury, Off the Top Rope, presented by SixPackCoverage.com. It is Off the Top Rope, and my guest, of course, the queen of soft style, Lucha Central, Chair Shot, and of course, Arizona Wrestling. And we all got to bow down because she is the queen. Miranda, what is up?
Hi, Ty, man. It's good to see you again.
It's always an honor when you come on the show, Miranda. And we, of course, we are wrestling. We talk wrestling. We love wrestling. Wrestling is 24/7. I mean, this may sound weird, but we, you eat it for breakfast if we could. This is damn good. So, but, I'm going to do something on the ropes. And just as we got on the air, we were talking about this. And I like pulling up graphics, and your fans are going to be so excited because she is coming to, snap, she's coming.
Yes.
Just announced today. She told me June 11th through the 12th, 2300 Arena, Philadelphia, PA. Miranda Morales is coming to. That's got to be like awesome, man.
Yeah, it's literally hot off the press. That was made and shared by Mass Republic, which is kind of the umbrella organization that's running Expo Lucha. And yeah, it's still kind of a shock to see that I have that image there out there that I will be ring-announcing at Expo Lucha June 11th and 12th. The 2300 Arena in Philly too. I mean, like, that place is such a historical monument in wrestling history. And so on top of just where I'm announcing and what I'm announcing for, like, it's just stacked on stacked excitement and amazement and honor to be part of the Expo Lucha event.
Everybody, like I said, you just tuned in. Give her a round of applause because Miranda Morales, she is pretty much cementing her name in wrestling history because I got like goosebumps. Like, girl, you'll be in Philly. Like,
I'm gonna be in Philly. Yeah, I'm gonna announce in the 2300 Arena. Like, that's what? What is this real? Is this real? It's crazy, and I'm thrilled. I'm also really excited for Expo Lucha to be returning in person. Expo Lucha had been an annual event, I believe, since 2018, and they've already had previous conventions in San Diego, in Las Vegas, and this event had been originally scheduled for 2020. But now, with the pandemic, they had to hold off on it for 2 years. And they did, of course, Expo Lucha Live on a virtual event last year, which was really fun and just a really great precursor to what's to come in Philadelphia this year. But for Expo Lucha to be back in person, live, in the 2300 Arena, a place that has really helped bring Lucha Libre to the United States. You think about luchadors who had worked in ECW and really was that precursor to the cruiserweight division of WCW. Lots of legendary luchadors have wrestled in that arena. And if we didn't have the luchadors within ECW, we wouldn't have seen them in WCW. And I don't think, a good chunk of American audiences like myself would have ever really, truly been able to see Lucha Libre on American television.
So, like I said, before we came on the broadcast, I said, I think I'm going to take my ass to Philly to see this show. And matter of fact, I think as soon as we wrap up tonight, I'm going to start making my travel plans. So how are tickets going? Because I got to be there. So pretty much, should I really get my ass going to get a ticket?
Yeah, I mean, I I don't have the exact count on how many tickets are remaining, but I know that tickets are going to be pretty hot. I do know that the Platinum VIP package that included access to both days, first row seating of the live events, and even autograph and photo package that has been sold out. So right now we do have the gold VIP tickets, and that is still giving you access to the event on both days. You do get second or third row seating to all of the live events that I will be announcing at. And then you get the gold autograph and photo package. So that's 10 luchador autographs and photos included. And so that's another thing. You know, we just have been talking about the live event aspect of this, but there's going to be photograph booths and autograph booths for dozens of, you know, legendary luchadors, you know, who have wrestled all over the world. So that is going to be also a really amazing additional part of this, that fans and people can, you know, participate in. And if you just want to go to the convention itself, those tickets are as little as $10 each day. So if you also are looking to do this, you know, at in more of a cost saving way, you can go to the expo for $10 each day. The live shows are an extra fee. They're $25 per show, but that's still a fairly normal ticket price for any event. And these are including very high profile matches. So for example, scheduled to appear on Saturday, June 11th, for the Lucha Libre event there. Dragon Lee versus Laredo Kid. Super Crazy versus Ultimo Dragon. Aries and Gringo versus Gringo Loco, both versus Super Astro Jr. versus Audio Boy, and then other talents announced: Black Taurus, Lady Maravilla, Lince Dorado, Mecha Wolf, Bestia 666. So really big names in Lucha Libre, including Psychosis, you know, a ECW, you know, legend, WCW legend, WWE legend. So that's on June 11th. On June 12th, you have very legendary names, like Solar Jr. and Super Astro Jr. will be facing the NWA World Tag Team Champions Mecha Wolf and Bestia 666. Ultimo Dragon and Solar are going to be teaming up to face Aries and Gringo Loco. Juventud Guerrero is also scheduled to be there on Sunday, and much more. So all of this information is on expolucha.com. The ticket prices, again, range. If you want to get a full package, you absolutely can, and that's for $150. Pretty inclusive. But hey, if you are not sure about your availability or want to be a little bit more budget friendly, you can do just $10 for general admission and then $25 for the live event, and that still gets you access to a lot of cool stuff.
Whew, like that right there, just like you know, you guys are bringing Christmas to Philadelphia early, like Christmas in Philadelphia in June. Like, how you don't hear that really pretty much all of what you guys are doing. And I want to ask you, Miranda, a big question: are you going to be doing like a convention style, like with your own table and gear? And because
You know, yeah, I was gonna say, you know, I could, but nobody would come and visit me. So I don't think I don't know if I will venture into that world yet. I think I'm just going to, what also kind of takes some time to be a fan too. I don't know if I would even be able to hold myself in my own booth, because I'm very much like a squirrel where I want to see and be in different places. So I think I'd be, you know, so much more interested in walking around, visiting with the other vendors, with the luchadors that will be there. Like, I think that as we talked about how much we love wrestling, not just from the perspective of, you know, podcasting and events, but as fans, and that's where we started off first. So it's going to be hard for me to not also be at Expo Lucha as a Lucha Libre and wrestling fan.
So if I want to, because like I Miranda, hold me to this too. If you don't, I can, you can power bomb me, no doubt. But if I want to check out tickets, can I go to 2300 Arena, their website too as well? Because I'm familiar with going to the venue there, and can I go on their website as well?
You know what? That is a good question. I'm going to be checking right now. They may have links to the Expo Lucha website, but I do know that I believe for the most part, the tickets are going directly through Expo Lucha, expolucha.com. And I actually believe you can purchase your tickets at the 2300 Arena website as well. So you're educating me a little bit. 2300arena.com. When you go under events, they have a whole list of events that are going to be happening at the 2300 Arena over the next few months, which that too, I mean, gosh, it's so cool to see even the other wrestling shows that are going to be there, like MLW, Kings of Colosseum is going to be there May 13th. New Japan, Collision in Philadelphia is going to be there May 15th, and then 2 days of Expo Lucha, June 11th and June 12th, there too. Like, gosh, it's so just those three big events in the course of a month is crazy. Yeah, you can actually purchase tickets on the 2300 Arena website as well, and of course expolucha.com. I would say that if you're looking for the bigger packages, expolucha.com is your place to go, but if you're looking for more of the single day tickets, then you can get them at the 2300arena.com website.
I always say I think we're in a fun time being in wrestling, because like I said, we're pretty much, the show's turned into 2300 Arena, which is fine.
Yeah, that's totally fine. That's just the way we are pivoting today.
I mean, you guys are going to be there. MLW, I just recently found out in September, Impact is coming there. So they like I said, 2300 Arena, that place is really, last time I went there, they've redone it. It's very nice from when I used to go to CCW and ECW, but that is the place to be. And we're definitely going to talk about the big event in June, like I said, a little bit later here on the program. But Miranda, I want to ask you too, moving forward, like I said, you've been busy as you are. You also have your two, you got Lucha Central and the Chair Shot. So as we head into the spring and summer, like what expectations, if you hope for these two wonderful organizations that you're a part of?
Yeah. I'm really, like you said, I'm very fortunate to be part of two great wrestling podcasting networks with the chairshot.com and luchacentral.com. Both are in two different places too when it comes to their content and broadcasting. The Chairshot has been a well-established source of wrestling news, sports entertainment for quite some time now. And with that, the content that is posted on the Chairshot continues to grow, and even the dynamic that I have with my co-hosts for the Greg DeMarco show and the hashtag Miranda show, that continues to evolve. I feel like I'm part of a great team with Greg DeMarco and Patrick O'Dowd. We've now been podcasting together for 3 years, fairly consistently. So now that we're all fairly comfortable with each other, we really now still look at wrestling in this wide lens, and we still try and have fun with it. So I think with us, it's still trying to find ways to have fun talking about wrestling, because when you do that day in and day out for years, sometimes it can lose its luster. Sometimes you worry that you run out of things to talk about. I feel especially proud with the hashtag Miranda show that Greg and I really do put an emphasis on the local independent scene in the state of Arizona. And we talk a lot about Impact Zone Wrestling, IZW, which is a promotion that Greg helps promote and runs. And just yesterday, as we were recording this week's hashtag Miranda show, we did talk a lot about IZW and other events happening in the Arizona area, and how much we want people to support independent wrestling wherever they are, and even the wide scope of wrestling. It was a very interesting conversation that happened very organically as I was talking about another event that I recently hosted, which was Wrestle Drag in Phoenix. And it was a combination combination pro wrestling and drag performance event where you had wrestling matches, and in between wrestling matches, you had drag queens performing.
Right.
And I loved it. It was the very first time I had ever seen anything like this. I had heard about promotions doing stuff like that. I had never seen it myself in person, nor had I ever hosted a dual event. So I came into it being challenged and wanted to be challenged as an announcer and as a host to really find what is a good balance. It's not just entertaining and talking to, announcing matches like a regular show. It's taking it to the next level dynamic when you're hosting a much larger event, and also your audience is a lot more diverse. A lot of people there, it was their very first time going to a professional wrestling show. So, being a part of that very first impression for fans. I mean, we talk about the first impression that we had with wrestling, as we were kids or teenagers. And the very first time is something you always remember. So I always feel a bit of a responsibility to always leave a really good impression for people who are coming to wrestling for the very first time. And we had a really great conversation about it on the hashtag Miranda show, and even too about identity, how for a wrestling organization and promotion like Wrestle Drag, they know who they are already after their first show. But it is also interesting too, when we talk about identity, that they're also a company that is aware of their diverse fan base, and specifically how they're being friendly to the LGBTQ community. And and that being a priority for the organization, and how, as much as they're aware of their identity, sometimes it takes struggling with your identity to know what kind of place and company you want to build. So it's stuff like that I think on local wrestling levels, you don't get the chance to do, because you're always busy talking about WWE, AEW, Impact, Ring of Honor. And so to be able to just dedicate some time about local wrestling, that to me is what I'm the proudest of for the chair shot, and something I hope to continue to do. And with Lucha Central, just continuing to learn about the world of Lucha Libre, to continue to expand on it. And now in this case with Expo Lucha too, really trying to intertwine more of our content with the upcoming events that is happening with Expo Lucha.
It seems like you're definitely bringing fans in who don't know about the Lucha Libre style. You're really bringing them in because they're like, man, this is really cool. I've never, been exposed to this before, and you're really doing a great job bringing fans into that, because I think, like you brought up a lot of good points earlier, a lot of fans, the word, I guess, you don't get tired of wrestling, but it's like something different. And especially with Philly, and you, and I really like what you and Greg are doing. You guys are really trying to really get the independent scene of wrestling over. And I think indie wrestling is just as good as, the big ones, Impact, WWE, AEW, because like I said before, we're kind of spoiled with wrestling because there's so many options out there. And I still think it can be good or bad. Thank God for social media, because you go on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, there's so many promotions, and you look and you're like, man, like wrestling's everywhere.
Yeah. And I think what's always, and I still struggle with this, and I don't know who has the magic formula to this, but you always notice that when WWE or AEW comes to town, they can fill thousands of seats. But at a local wrestling show, they struggle to get 100. And there isn't very much of a difference between people who may like AEW or WWE and who may also like an independent wrestling show. So there is truly somehow a disconnect between those fan bases, and whether they don't know or they're just maybe not aware of how independent wrestling works, or the fact that it can be just as fun as a larger show, sometimes if not even funner. So, I think that just being able to talk about it in the same way that you talk about those bigger promotions too, lets fans know, like, wrestling is wrestling. And being able to see it at various sizing and levels and arenas, that's what makes it awesome, is that you have so much variance with it. But I do think that there's still, for some reason, such a big disconnect that, promotions in general have a hard time pulling just a fraction of the fans that WWE has on that larger basis anytime they do a pay-per-view or a house show or a TV show. And I just don't know, but I think it's, if we frame it that way and treat it that way for all wrestling fans to know about it, hopefully it brings them to know more about wrestling in different levels. And as wrestling fans, you talked about the variety. Sometimes we get spoiled with it, where we're not happy with anything that we see on TV. So it's also one of those things that, as a fan, if you don't like what you're seeing on AEW or WWE, go check out your local independent promotion, because they may actually be doing something that you will like.
Yeah, and if you're watching Off the Top Rope live, Sizzle as can be, Miranda Morales is live on the show tonight, and she brought up a good question. If you want to comment and talk about this, she said, of course, how come local indies can't jam pack 20,000, 30,000? That's the question. If you can throw it in the comment section, we can all talk about that too. And as well as too, I got to say, if you're watching the show right now, definitely get your 6-pack cup here, because or two. So thank you, 6-pack, for hooking me up, and definitely get these on 6packcoverage.com, while you're watching the ropes. And that's a good question, Miranda, is why the indies cannot do that, because I went to an indie show that I was actually reporting from here in my area here in New York, and the show was really good, but as you said, it was only like maybe 50 people, 60, and they actually had this broadcast live on Fight TV, which is a huge wrestling streaming platform. And that's one thing I want to ask you about too. Like, do you feel that indie promotions should take advantage of Fight TV to stream their product, or I guess it all just depends?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I honestly think it depends. The capacity to be able to live stream an event is a lot of technical work and
Oh,
support
yeah.
that's needed to do that. And especially with Fight TV, there is that paywall thing, where you do have to pay. And so, do you have a fan base that you think would pay for that? And I think it's balancing, is it worth more on recording material and posting it for free on YouTube, and then as you build your base, possibly then streaming live through Fight. I think that, and I don't know all the mechanics behind that and the fees and things associated. So I think it comes back to, what is your return on investment? And especially, I think, for promotions that maybe are very, very local, that really don't travel very much, it may not necessarily be in their best interest to have content on Fight TV. Whereas even if they're more traveling within a metropolitan area or within different states, maybe it is worth it, because then you are trying to broaden your base. So it's hard, and that's something that I definitely don't envy for promoters and those who own wrestling promotions. A lot of the things that they have to weigh when it comes to content, and how do they reach their audience, or expand their audience base, because it's not just as simple as, oh, we'll live stream and we'll become famous and it solves all of our problems. Because we've seen that happen too. It doesn't quite work that way. It's really, what is some of your long-term goals, your intentions behind it? What is it? What are you trying to do with it? And is your content as well really available for that? For example, if you don't have commentary for your viewing audience to listen to, is it worth doing that if they're just going to watch a video and have no additional context to what's happening in the event? And there's pros and cons to both, but I do think it's all things that they definitely have to evaluate and make decisions.
Now, Miranda, of course, you said it too. You're like a squirrel. You're all over the place. You're busy all over the place. You just want to learn. But since you've been doing that, you've achieved so many great things. And of course, ropes proud, because we're proud of you here on the ropes. Now, when you see success, like in this picture, like one word to describe that, because I think that's a cool picture, and that's why I wanted to share it on the show. Like, what's one word to describe this picture? Because like, there's only one Queen of Soft style, so you know.
I would just say, oh gosh, one word to describe success. I would say empowered.
Okay.
Being empowered to have the confidence to go up and announce a show, the ability to feel empowered to make decisions, empowered to to take risks. And I feel like that's where in my journey in the world of pro wrestling, I've slowly but surely have felt empowered to take chances, to take risks, to grow in steps, to be right, to be wrong, to go to places, to announce right in my hometown, backyard, like in all levels, but having that sense of empowered to make my own choices and decisions.
And one thing you're doing, and you've gained a lot, including myself, because I'm definitely, on the Queen of Soft style, bus. I'm on there 24/7. Is you gain a lot of fans, and because you put in the work to do that, and like you said, in life as well, especially wrestling, you're taking a chance because to put it, make a name for yourself. I'm excited. I mean, you come to Philly, so like, even
I know it's
I'm sorry, I keep bringing it up, but it's. I mean, and you know as well anybody, because I grew up around Philly. It's such a huge and successful wrestling city. It's like your name is going to be on history when you leave there in June. So it's just I'm excited for you. Like I can't, I'm just like I'm gonna be driving you nuts talking about this like until we.
it happens. No, I mean, people dream about wrestling in that arena. I mean, people dream of being parts of shows, to be able to say, was that ever a place I ever thought I would ring announce? No, not at all. And so I think that's what makes it even more special when you get to places that you never expect to go, and when you're there, it's just this feeling of surrealness of wow, you just hit such a cool career milestone. And I yeah, I'm just yeah, that it's still I'm still on cloud nine, and nothing's even happened yet. So I know once it actually happens, I'm going to be on cloud nine for quite some time.
Well, it's much deserved, and you should be because you've earned this. And as we move forward, close to the end, and this sizzling episode of Off the Top Rope, because this is a two episode sizzle night here on Off the Top
Yeah,
Rope.
you got a big night ahead of you.
I got a big night ahead of me, but you got a lot of really cool shows coming up. I'm always following what you're doing, and I saw this too, so we can promote this. What do you predict how these shows will be? Because they look really cool. We got June 4th, and also May 6th, 7th, 8th. I mean, you got a lot of cool shows that you're promoting. Miranda, you're just busy, girl.
Yeah, so I don't know if you know this, but tomorrow is Cinco de Mayo, and this is a very popular week for Lucha Libre as communities really embrace Lucha Libre as a way to celebrate Cinco de Mayo. So Board Promotions is one of those. They've partnered with the Mexicano, which is a restaurant in Scottsdale, and they're going to be hosting a 3-night event for fans to come to with a plethora of luchadors from all walks of Lucha Libre that will be there. And just a really great way to celebrate Cinco de Mayo, but also for fans to enjoy Lucha Libre. So, I mean, you saw that poster. You have some pretty big names seen there, like Psycho Clown, Bestia 666, Damien 666, Psychosis, and much more listed, as well as some amazing talent that's based out of the Arizona scene here. And of course, even California and New Mexico. So really like a big fiesta for 3 days. And then Slam U is going to have their next show on June 4th. And Slam U is something that I'm really honored to be a part of. It is the student showcase for the Arizona Pro Wrestling Training Center, based out of Phoenix. So the Arizona Pro Wrestling Training Center is a top-notch wrestling school in Phoenix, and they've been around now for 3 years. And just last month had their very first full Slam U showcase. And it is their student showcase where the students of the Arizona Pro Wrestling Training Center have amazing matches, get to interact with the crowd, and really hone their skills. And their next event is going to be on June 4th. And that's also been an area for me to grow in because at Slam U, I serve as one of the commentators. So that's an arena that I don't have as much familiarity with as I do announcing and interviewing. Live commentary is very different for me. So that's how I'm also able to pivot and challenge myself, is taking, the elements that I'm familiar with in ring announcing and interviewing, and try and pull the best of those to do live commentary with my partner, Scott Johnson, who I've worked with before. He's fantastic commentator, and I feel really fortunate to be able to work with him, as well as Jacob East, who is the ring announcer for Slam U, and to see him grow as a ring announcer and someone that I work with regularly. It's always really exciting to see kind of the next group come up. And Slam U is, though on paper it's a student showcase, they sometimes outperform their trainers. And as you could, see there, Anthony Green and Richard Holliday are going to be on the next Slam U. Alexander Hammerstone was on the very first Slam U last month too. So it's also a showcase where you have independent talent coming, wanting to face these students from the Arizona Pro Wrestling Training Center. Like, they're ready to take on the future head on. And so it makes these shows really exciting, that not only do you have fresh talent, but they're being challenged in ways that you don't typically see on a student showcase.
Like I said, once we go through, like I said, like dates of what you're doing, you got to run through all this stuff, because like I said, I've had goosebumps all throughout this episode, this last half hour. So it's really, really been a cool thing. And Miranda, I know you want to choke me because I always do this to you. You ready to get stumped?
Am I ready? No. But will it happen? Yes.
Let's stomp her.
Damn, Ty. That's good.
All right. So, of course, you are going to be in Philly. I've said it like 100 times next month. So,
if nobody knows, I'll be in Philly June 11th and 12th.
So, 11 and 12. So, all right. So now you'll be there, like I said, with this very successful wrestling event. However, the question is, once the event's over with and is moved on, Miranda Morales, she comes back to Philly, 2300 Arena, doing her very first pay-per-view at the facility. So the question is, what would you name the event using a wrestling-related word that you've been using as of late?
Oh my gosh. A wrestling-related word I've been using as of late. Oh, that's a good question. Man, I have to say, I've been using heat a lot, people getting the heat, who has heat. So I don't know, bring in the heat or something like that. Like, it would be like a July pay-per-view, type of thing. Maybe because it's also reminding me of like Heat Wave, that classic ECW pay-per-view. That's one idea. Let me see. Gosh, a wrestling-related term. Gosh. I always joke, when people have a wrestling vernacular, you have words, but people, the way that they pronounce them or, use them is a little different. And I jokingly will refer to the business as the biznass. Yeah. And so I would probably just name a pay-per-view the biznass, and just, and it is just it's just biznass. And I don't know why I pronounce it that way. It's just a funny way of saying it.
Well, I take you enjoyed this. Like I've stumped you before in the past. I was like, man, watch it reach through the screen and choke me. But that was really good. I'm glad you enjoyed that. So, but that was a really cool answer. And I've said I'm really excited for you coming to Philadelphia of course, June 11th, the 12th, big event, 2300 Arena. And just on top of that, Miranda, tell everybody, besides that, what are you up to next? Because your schedule is out the wazoo.
It's
So
insane.
let all your fans know, where is the Queen of Soft Style going to be?
I'll just cover this short span because it is a little crazy, and God, I hope I don't forget anything. But as soon as tomorrow, May 5th and May 6th, so Thursday and Friday, I will be announcing for Port Promotions for their Cinco de Mayo 3-day extravaganza at the Mexicano restaurant in Scottsdale. The show starts at 5, I believe, and there'll be wrestling sprinkled throughout the night. For Saturday, May 7th, I will be in Cathedral City, California, right outside of Palm Springs for Lucha Libre Mexicana, which has been now the third wrestling event for the Cathedral City Agua Caliente casinos. So coming back for a third time is awesome. And it is also in conjunction with Mass Republic, the organization putting together Expo Lucha. It's going to be featuring Octagon Jr. and Ray Oros, Baronessa, and lots of other amazing Lucha Libre talent. And a shout out to IZW Impact Zone Wrestling. I will be missing them on Saturday, but again, it's the promotion that I work with Greg DeMarco. They have their event, King of the Jungle, happening on Saturday as well in Sun Studios of Tempe in Tempe, Arizona. Tickets are still available at izwwrestling.com for that. And then next Saturday, that is May 14th, Phoenix Championship Wrestling returns with their Live on Broadway event. And tickets are still available at pcwaz.com. I will be ring announcing for that event as well. And Phoenix Championship Wrestling, I mean, it is a wrestler show. If you are looking, though, for a variety, they have great tag team matches, lucha libre matches, hard-hitting, tough matches. And that's featuring Sam Adonis and Toa Leona. So, pretty reputable names coming to Arizona for Phoenix Championship Wrestling. And then May 27th, that is a Thursday, I will be announcing in Vegas for Future Stars of Wrestling to kick off the Memorial Day weekend extravaganza there called Full Tilt Weekend. FSW is partnering with Wrestling Revolver as well as some other Black Label Pro to host a variety of shows in the Las Vegas area because it is Double or Nothing weekend. So I'm going to be announcing for Luck of the Draw, which is their kickoff event on Thursday, May 27th at the FSW Arena. And then on Saturday, I believe that may be May 30th. I will be in Tucson for Dia de los Muertos, Rockstar Wrestling Alliance. And it is a cool blend of lucha libre and punk rock. A live band will be playing in between matches. And, it's such a very fun, exhilarating show that I've loved working with, and they're going to be hosting an amazing event in Tucson. So that's the month of May. I'll leave it at that. Of course, June 4th is Slam U in Phoenix, Arizona, and then Expo Lucha June 11th and 12th in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia Live.
Yes.
I got to say, before we wrap up the show, Miranda, I always got to ask, from 1 to 10, would you come back on the ropes again?
Of course, that's a 20.
I get a 20. I'll take that. I have to say, all episode goosebumps, and when it comes to putting in the work, want to be the best in wrestling, and all the events she's doing. There's only one person that I know of that can do all the events that she's doing, her busy schedule. This lady right here, the one, the only, Miranda Morales. Everybody support her. Chair Shot, Central, Phoenix Wrestling. She's going to be in Philly. She is doing big things, and her summer is just getting started. She brought the heat here on Off the Top Rope. Miranda, as always, it's an honor. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your schedule to come on the ropes and party it up.
Thank you, Ty. I love coming on, and just thank you so much for having me on once again.
This is your boy Ty Asbury. As always, say have a great night. And at 7 o'clock, we also the ropes returns again at 7 o'clock. So you better be here. Renegade Twins are coming up at 7 o'clock. And as always, Miranda Morales, the one and only Queen of Soft Style. God bless. Love yourself. Love others. We're out of here. Peace out and have a great night.
Bye.